Hello everybody, today I'll resume talking about chapter 3. Chapter 3 is talking about the dialogue of my working paper, the end of housing problem now. In this video, we are going to talk about security, security for person, for homeland, for the nation, for the country, for the community. And in the next video, inshallah, I'm going to talk about local development. Today we're going to talk about security. Security, the narrow meaning of security is protection against risk, attack, theft, anything can hurt to the body or money or building or organization or the country. This is the narrow meaning of security. Security has a wide meaning, not protection of attack or something like this, hurt body or money or building or something like this, but it's safe. Plus that we have to save the men have belong house, has belong job, has belong food, has belong many things to live as a man, to keep his dignity. So the security has a wide meaning. In this video, I'm going to talk the rule of my working paper about this about the security and what can we achieve for it. Today, I'm going to speak. My friend we talking about the security and the problem of security in our world. His question, my friend, said there are many problems in the world, or in the country, that can make troubles in security, like slums. Slums forms. So you can tell us what can with your working paper do for the working paper at the end of housing problem now has effect or rule for dealing when the dealing or effect about some problems I will tell you. First of all, slums, as you know, this is forms of social tension for community, and it's a place for also it's a place where the criminal hide. So what can do? The living is not so, and the living there in the slums it's not suitable for the mankind. You can see 4 people or family consists of 5 persons, 6 persons, 10 persons live in one room. And there is no surface in the slums. Also, so the people in the slums hate the community or the community when they see the change in the standards of living through the TV. It's a gate of hell. So the people in the slums hated the community itself because they are living under standards of life. Other things, the problem of need security, we have to deal with it. It's a water war. What we can do? As you know, the next war of the world will be, as experts and the thinkers told us or said, that the next war, global war, will be caused due to caused by the water poverty. What will we able to do? Also, housing. You see. Also, if you see the housing prices in the world, it's too expensive. Even rent is also expensive. As the rent almost it's about more than 60 monthly income for the people in the world, nearly. So what's the rest of the remind of this income? If it's not enough for food, for medicine, for eating, for drinking, for visiting, many things. So the rent itself is very problem, and they take much money from the people. And you see this in Saudi Arabia. It's a rich country. Petrol. 60 of Sudan people are tenants. So also they faced problems. First problems every 2 years or 3 years, and the end of contract they will face or confront, go out from the flat or apartment, or must acceptable the increase in the rental value. This is a problem also. Also, there are also problem. What is the role of the work Bible for for the country security, for crime. Some people, some criminals hide in place here or here or here. If the working people do something to catch these people or increase towards the place, this is a problem, because many people criminals hide in different places. So we have to talk about the security. If your working paper solve this problem or can make action or role in this item of security or problems here. Here we are going to talk about through the next through the video, the role of my working paper to solve this problem and to achieve much, and this is very beautiful and working paper. Working paper, you will see its action. Let us see to see the whole Quran talking about the security. And Surah Al-Baqarah, our God said in the Holy Quran, and we said, O Adam, don't you and your wife in the paradise and eat therefrom in abundance from wherever you will, but don't approach the tree, lest you be along the wrong dozer. But next verse, but Shaitan caused them to slip out of it and removed them from that in which they had been, and we said, go down all of you as enemy to one another, and you will have opened the earth, place of settlement and provision for time. Look here, the first order from our God to the Adam. Adam is the father of the mankind. Dwell. That means that the dwell is the main item of security. So everybody must belong house. And even he go down. If you ordered him go down to the earth, he told them place of the settlement. Also housing. This is settlement is important, and the housing is the main item for security, and everybody has its own house. Look here, our Prophet Muhammad said, we who became safe in his community, well in his body, has his food of his day or daily food. He acquires everything in the life that he has his need in the life. From this we can see this is the security not to be attacked or anybody or be stolen. But the security means you must have everything: dwelling, eating, job. Everything safe in your community, social relation. This is the complete meaning of the security. Look here to my working paper. What will do? My working paper will do first thing the rent formula. As you know, there are two in recent times. There are two kind of formula in the world. Both are one of them is the older rent formula. The rental value is fixed, and the duration is open. Rent time or rent period is open. It's hard to the landlord because he cannot attain. He get his house when he's in need. And the new civil law, this is does not make stability to the tenant. And every time when he renew his contract, he will exposed, or he must afford the increase in the rental value. Otherwise, he will be homeless. But in my working paper, the rental formula, you can see or watch it in the part number 7. Both the party of the rent needed, both parties, the landlord and the tenant, need each other. Why? That the landlord, if he keep his apartment vacant, he will be he has to pay tax and the tenant need house also. Other things, the landlord the value of the house will be decreased day by day when the housing fund money or power increased. Look here, the second thing, this gives the tenant the stability. The stability. Why? Because my suggestion in my the rent formula suggests rent formula. There are one period, 5 years, he cannot he cannot leave his house, his apartment, rented apartment, and after this first 5 years, the contract will renew yearly, except in two cases I told you before in the part number 7. Also, the rental value is linked to which is called real estate pound, not fixed as a value, but the number is fixed. It's fixed, but the value, rental value, is not fixed, and the landlord cannot increase it by himself, but the market increased only. This makes it safe. I'll give the tenant security here. Second thing, the water war. You know, water poverty. Water poverty. It's a problem of the new generation, and I explained this in part number 14. It will make a water map. My working paper suggests make water map and redistribute the people and replanning the cities to make so my working paper make it easy, because I here will mock and load the people and redistribute the cities. Easy shift agriculture places of water. It's full of water. You have water like river, around the river, around the well. Any places there are water. So and adopted collective irrigation system. This will save much water. As you know, the agriculture consumed about 80% of the water, good water. Shift the housing and industries in the places has no source of water. No source of water. I mean here there is no like a desert, something like this, because the many factors here in the world besides the river and the source of water, so it can make a problem to the water poverty. Third, dangers of underground water. Underground water make two problem here: weak agricultural productivity, and also fail and demolition of building. It's about 30% of the building which is demolished. So this will be happening by replanning the cities. Code number rule. It can make a security, because if the investigation men detective resort to ask some people or informers about the criminals, and may fail to get the answer where this criminal live. But with the application of my work paper or worksheet, and access only to the land register and search the name, can find the housing of the offender and or criminal to achieve this justice. Because here he can go to the registration office and he can see where by the name where the criminal stay. It's easy to get it. Also eliminates the slums. Here, because slums it's establishment of the people make slums, because if they make building in any place like without permission or allow for the government, he can buy, he can sell it or can rent it. But with application of my working paper, if you want to rent, to sell your home, if anybody built in slums, the slum, if he want to sell his home or rent it, he have to get from the registration office a paper, to prove its code number, so he cannot sell it or can rent it. So he can my working paper or use code number, he will stop establishment or make slums. Preventing cheating or fraud on the property. Some people can get fake paper or or make it trick with the people, but with application of the code number, he will be sure that he has owned the building which he will sell or rent by the application when you use the code number rule. Unity all real estate and the landlord of the country on one file. This is important to the nation, to the big nation like America, like China, because he make a unity of all real estate in the country itself in one file. Just to make unity of the country itself, like because there are towns in the United States of America can be a nation. So this make a unity of the country itself. So it's important to the nation. 5. Decreasing the cases in the court. As example, in Egypt, 60 of the cases in the court due to real estate problem. But here, by applying my working paper, it will eliminate the most cases in the court. The worksheet will eliminate most cases in the courts between the tenant and the landlord now, as well as when the father, if the father of some sons or relatives die, the conflict within the inheritor to be less, because they go to registration, because by getting the paper from registration office, he can get paper to prove who the owner, who is in inheritors. So this eliminates much paper. And also when there are a conflict between the landlord and the tenant, it will be eliminated, because in some cases in Egypt, like in the old law, if you go to the police station if the contract is ended between the landlord, rent contract between landlord and the tenant, sometimes the tenant he cannot agree to go out, but and the landlord, when he go to the police station, police station cannot do anything. He can inform him that he have to go to the court. But with application certification card, by certification card, it can be used to can used by the police to get rid of the tenant when he refused to go out. Housing fund here. Housing problem is a big project which creates criminal and simply good incentive to do that. The flat has average prices, as example, £80,000, and the rent of the apartment of the middle class to the ordinary people up to £400, while the monthly average wage of the citizen on the best estimate of £7. So how he can drink, take medicine, and gets an apartment, promoting some to the conduct illegal, whether he likes or forced. Here the rent value about more than 80% of the total income, total monthly income to the many people in the country. The question is, if he pay 60% of his income in rent. How can he eat? How can he take medicine? How to can enjoy his time? How can he take food? So the people can be forced to make a legal behavior, like they have to or get money from anywhere to satisfy his need, to supply his need. But in my paper, the housing fund, he can give anybody the money to build his home without any it's a free interest. It's a good loan. Also, the rent value will be decreased. Second, the hatred of the poor to the rich. When you see here, some people live in houses. It's one room or two room without any surface. So he can be hatred. Hate the people who live in high standard class like this building. But with applying the working paper, there is no difference. There is no difference between the rich and the poor, because both can get a free interest loan, and it should be a affordable value. 7. Easy planning. Easy planning cities towards the borders. Borders application of the air here, like if you see Egypt, Egypt, the tax or the tax came from the north and the east. It's always in the history told us that. But so the people must live here, away from this area to be safe, to more safe. Some countries has a volcano, earthquakes. It's appeared in the recent time, in modern time. So the people have to be go to away from this area. This is a reason. Also, the people here living around the river, but all the country is a desert. If you told the people go here in the desert to redistribute the people, he cannot agree, because it will be expensive and they cannot get a complete life here in the desert. But with applying a housing fund, and the people and the government will give him a good loan, so he can easy let the people live here in the desert or far from the dangerous places. The dangerous places here. Also, my working paper. If you want to make cities here, or redistribute the people, replanning the cities here, and redistribute the people, so you can make routes from the neighborhood nation, like Libya here, in case of Egypt, and Sudan in the south, Libya in the west. So it's make a relation with them. Also, if in case there are application of if there are international problem, and there are application of air embargo, there is no here routes to the next nation like Libya or Sudan. But here was apply my working paper. I will replanning their nation and redistribute. So every nation must have its own rule, own routes to the next nation to avoid any air embargo. Neighborhood, establishment of neighborhood. Neighborhood is a way of security. Why? Because a neighborhood will be managed by residents of the neighborhood. It will establishment of neighborhood council, which elected by the people from the residents itself. So this can make good relation with the residents, with the people in the neighborhood, because everybody want to be the mayor of the neighborhood or the president of the council. He have to make a good relation with the people itself. Also, everybody will know each other. So it will prevent the thieves or the criminal to enter the neighborhood to make a crime, to make a crime in it. Also, in the neighborhood will establishment of the tradition councils in each neighborhood. Also, the ruling would be binding only if there is agreement between both parties who has a make conflict. It will reduce. This is traditional consent will reduce the hassles and reduce many cases many cases in the which can be exposed to the court or enter the court. So banned many problems. Also, neighborhood by business centers, the people will get can get a free loan from the neighborhood easy without need to the bank. And the neighborhood there are business center and some activities. All the residents will share in it, so there are a good relation and they make good security, and especially there will be social relation between the people in the neighborhood. So neighborhood will be a way for security. It's a good way for security. If we see in the war, the internal front is important and must be united and be satisfied their needs, because the war in the past it was between the cities. So the internal front will no action because there was away from the war itself. But in the recent time, there are by the missiles on the aircraft and rocket, the internal front can be hurted from these missiles or rocket. Also, in the recent time, in the past, the people can eat anything, and their need is a little. But now, in the recent times, there are much needs, more than in the past. The internet, something, the foods, many surface, many activities. So the neighborhood will be a good way to save the internal front during the war. So it's important the security for the country, and somebody can be some government give up if the internal front hurted from economic view. Number 9, the prices in the economy. The prices on housing and everything will be decreased. Why? Because this is the prices of the exist of the housing fund. Housing fund makes the prices of the housing itself will decrease. Both if you rent or buy a house, it will be cheap, more cheap. And also the economic progress will occur as the result of the origination of the productive sector. So there will be much goods and many things. There is no losses of money, losses in transportation. Many losses will eliminate it. So there will be progress in economy. So will be a good action in the security itself. Next video, inshallah, it will be chapter 3. We are still in chapter 3, part 16. Our friend asked me about the real estate investment. What is the role of the working paper on the local development? Local development is an important thing, but by the way, there is no local development in the world. But my working paper will establishment the new or the first local development.